We're here today at the launch of the all-new FOTON Tunland Ute. Now this Ute sits in that mid-size section, a little bit smaller than the Ram and Chev 1500s, but bigger than the Isuzu or the Ranger or the Hilux. So there's a couple of Utes in this size segment now, and it's a rapidly growing segment as well. FOTON have been around before, but this Ute is completely different to what it ever has been here before. Okay, Tunland comes in 4 models, 2 in the V7 and 2 in the V9. The V7 is more the commercial type Ute. It comes with leaf spring rear suspension. There's one model that comes in 2-wheel drive and one model that comes in 4-wheel drive. And the V9 comes in 2 different versions, both with 4-wheel drive and a rigid axle multi-link coil suspension in the rear. So the main difference between the two of them, as I said, is the suspension between the V7 and the V9, and also a bit of the look at the front here. The V9 has these horizontal lights, whereas the V7 has a set of vertical lights, but they both have that big, bold sort of, grille type look, which is excellent. I actually like the look of the V7 slightly more than the V9, but that's just personal taste. The key thing here with these vehicles is the pricing. The V7 starts at around $39,990 plus the usual costs, and the top of the line V9 is a stunning $49,990 plus the usual costs. Now that is just outstanding value for what you get in these vehicles. I really don't know how they do it, but it is just superb value for money in these vehicles. All of the vehicles come with a 2-litre 4-cylinder 48-volt mild hybrid diesel turbo engine. It has 120 kilowatts of power and 450 newton meters of torque. The torque is actually pretty good, comes in around about 1500 revs, so that's good. They come with an 8-speed ZF transmission. I think for most circumstances, the 120 kilowatts of power is good, it's adequate, and it drives nicely. But if you're looking to tow something heavy or have really heavy loads with this, it's probably a little bit underpowered. So it's horses for courses. You'd buy this Ute more as a lifestyle type Ute rather than a heavy duty work vehicle or towing a 3-ton sort of vehicle caravan behind you. It is rated to tow 3,500 kilos, but just because you can doesn't mean you should. If you're looking at something around about that 2-ton mark to tow, this thing is ideal. Okay. It also is probably one of the better looking Utes in this mid-size segment. Some of the others sort of have big, bold looks, but this thing, I don't know, it just seems to have that real style about it, which is quite attractive. Yesterday when we were driving out to our launch, it was massive traffic on the freeway, and we were going stop, start, and about 3 times I had people pull up next to me, tap on the window, down. What is it? Told them. They said, oh God, it looks good. So it's quite an attractive vehicle. So let's have a quick look inside and see what it's like in there. Righto, jumping inside, the first thing you notice is that the doors open nice and wide, and there is plenty of storage space in the door pockets as well. There's 3 layers of storage, plenty of room for bottles down the bottom there, so it's quite good. There's a bit of a step up to get into it, so thankfully there is a good running board or stepping board to get into it. This is actually a really comfortable Ute inside. There's plenty of room for someone like me that's larger than the average bear, so I can sit really comfortably in this, and there's still plenty of room behind me, which we'll have a look at in a second. First thing you notice is that there's soft touch points everywhere. First thing you notice is that there's grab handles everywhere, which is really great for everybody to get in and out. Then after that, you notice that there's soft touch points everywhere. It's really well done. This is the top of the line V9S model, so it's got all the bling and everything in there that you want. But the bottom, the entry level V7 is not far from this, I can tell you. Very thick steering wheel, which is great. I do like the fact it's got height and reach adjustment, and it feels good in the hands. All the usual controls on there that you'd expect. Paddle shifters, which are great. Large central screen, which is pretty typical these days, and a large digital dash, which is configurable for what you want to do with it. The central screen, the clarity is excellent, and the touch sensitivity is excellent, and it's relatively intuitive. You can find the things that you want to do, like when I jump in a car, I turn off the lane keep assist, I turn off all those sort of what I call interfering safety features, and it's pretty easy to find all those. Unfortunately, like a lot of cars these days, you've got to turn it off every time, but it's easy to find. The other thing I do really like is that you've got a lot of buttons down here for your air conditioning. I love that, and your seat heaters, etc. Rather than having to go through 2 or 3 layers in a menu to find stuff in there, it's easy and quick to find. Start button there. This top of the line has a charging tray for your smartphone connectivity, Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, a wireless connectivity as well. This central layout here is quite well done. Now, being the top of the line, now remember this is a $50,000 plus usual costs 4-wheel drive ute, and it has both front and rear diff locks. This is on the top of the line only, but it has front and rear diff locks. You just don't get that anywhere else. It's an 8-speed ZF automatic transmission, as I said. It's got automatic or 4 high, 2 high or 4 low, and you've got 6 different drive modes that are sport, economy or standard. I think then it's sand, mud, and I can't remember what the other one was, but you know, it'll be on the article down below. A couple of bottle holders or cup holders there, which is great. The central console bin is quite large, and it's easy to access, which is good. Driver's seat are heated. There's 3 memory positions as well, and there's an additional lumbar support for the driver. Passenger seat is electronically adjusted as well. There's a sunroof. So all in all, this is actually a really comfortable place to sit. Top of the line has the driver monitoring system where the sensor is there, and again I go in and turn all that stuff off, but it's only on the very top vehicle, thankfully. And again, seats are really comfortable. I really like them. I think that's about it for here. Okay, let's have a look in the back seats. Again, the first thing you notice when you're looking to jump in the back seat is the fact the doors open wide. Again, plenty of storage area in the doors, speakers there as well. There are, on the 2 outer seats, 2 ISOFIX points and a top tether point sitting down in behind the seat here. These fold forward like that. And also the seat itself will fold up and hook up if you need to put other storage in there. So that's all, you know, that's all pretty good. Now I'm 190 centimetres tall and larger than the average bear. Grab handles. I'm jumping in to sit in here. Now that seat's set at the front for me to drive, so I can sit in the back behind me, which is, unless you get into the Ram size, you know, 1500 Utes, it's unheard of for me. So this is really good. Great space in here. Again, seats are comfortable. There's heated outer rear seats. There's also USB ports and a 3-pin 240 volt plug. So, comfortable place to sit. It's pretty good. Righto, let's have a look in the tub. Now, as I said, this is a fairly large ute in that mid-size section. I think it's a bit over 5.6 metres long. I think the wheelbase is about 33.55, if I can remember my stats correctly. So a lot of that, as I said, will sit in the back seat as well, but also it gives you a fairly large tub here as well. So this particular one, top of the line, it's got this sports bar on here, which looks great, but also prevents you getting access to the front of the tub. So everything, you know, has a balance in there. The one thing I do like about it is all of the Utes have this soft opening tailgate, which is good. And again, that's strong enough for someone like me, larger than the average bear, to sit on. So that's all great. Now the tub itself, let's have a quick look inside there. Okay. So the tub itself is actually quite large. It's about 1570 long. I think it's about 1640 wide. There's about 1240 between the 2 wheel arches, which is large enough for a standard pallet. It's quite deep also at 530, so it's a fairly large cubic measurement in terms of the tub. Now, like a lot of manufacturers, one thing they've absolutely buggered up and got wrong is where the tie-down points are. In the rear here, there are a couple of tie-down points which are fairly low, but at the front, they're up high. I don't understand why manufacturers don't put tie-down points down the bottom where they're supposed to be. Because again, in New South Wales, if you're taking a flat pack or something and you put it in there, you can't tie it down, so therefore you are transporting that illegally and can get fined. So, and it's not Robinson Crusoe. A lot of the manufacturers do that as well. I do notice that, for example, the Chev, the next size up, has 3 on each corner. 1, 2, 3. Great idea, simple. Don't know why more manufacturers don't do that. So the soft opening and close is both ways, and it's actually really good. That's not heavy at all. I like that. And there's a step on the back there which you can use to access if you want to. It doesn't have steps on the side here like a lot of other manufacturers have, but maybe that's something they can sort of think about for the future. But again, quite a large area in the tub, so that gets a tick from me.
Our drive program started off getting out of Melbourne in peak hour traffic, and it was atrocious, bumper to bumper all the way. We headed into some of the back roads, and here the car actually starts to come into its own. Put it into sport, and that 2-litre motor starts to feel as though it's got a bit of push on. You do have to work it hard though, because it is slightly underpowered. The multi-link coil suspension really starts to come into its own here on these dirt tracks as well. And as you'll find, it's quite smooth, quiet, and fairly composed. You start getting into some of the more difficult forest trails, and you find the articulation is great. It's certainly not a bush basher by any stretch of the imagination, but it does do quite well on these forest trails. It's actually quite enjoyable to drive. And then you actually go further into the bush. The ramp over angle was surprisingly good. We did a lot of drainage ditches, and I thought it was going to scrape, but it didn't. So this was quite pleasant. And then we actually hit some nice smooth dirt roads, put it into sport, and that multi-link rear coil suspension really made this vehicle composed. It was a lot of fun to drive. Really enjoyed it actually. I love the fact that you got this completely transparent camera to see what's underneath.
So far on this launch, we've done heavy peak hour traffic. We were travelling 4 or 5 kilometres an hour. We've done a lot of back road driving, a lot of really tight, twisty type driving in some of the hill sections around here in Victoria. Motorway driving, we've done 4-wheel drive, some reasonably interesting tracks for the 4-wheel drive, a lot of bush trails, forest trails. So we've pretty much covered the whole spectrum in terms of what you'd expect this type of vehicle to do. The only thing we haven't done is some sand driving. But again, I'll do that when I actually get the vehicle for a test. Off-road, it's pretty damn good, I've got to say. It's got great wheel articulation, and it doesn't really seem to change that much between the two different types of suspension in the rear, which is good. You've got the dial-in sort of 4-wheel drive high or low. You've got the twin diff locks, front and rear, in this top spec model. The stats in terms of, I think it's got 240mm ground clearance. The side running boards, you do need to have a little bit of a watch out for, but that's not different to any other ute. The other ramp over approach departure angle I'll just put in down on the video because I can't remember them off the top of my head at this particular point in time. So overall, what are my thoughts of this ute? What's it going to be used for? This really is, it's not going to be a heavy duty, let's load it up, drive to the Cape type ute. It's not going to be a real bush basher type ute. And it's not going to be a ute that you're going to buy to tow really heavy caravans or boats behind. What it is going to be used for is people that want to have a lot of space inside. They want to have an interior that really is premium SUV-like, and it just makes you feel at home when you're sitting in it. And that's a big call for me to say, I guess. It's a lifestyle ute. It's going to be towing the smaller camper trailer. It's going to be putting the bikes in the back and heading off to the forest trail. It's going to be spending the day on the beach. And you've got all that comfort and space inside. There's a lot of more details in terms of the article down below. So have a read of that. If you like the video, please like us. Please subscribe to us. But let's just go back to that pricing. $40,000 through to $50,000 plus the usual costs. That is outstanding value. There is nothing else that comes close to it on the market in terms of what you get for your money at that price. So definitely worthwhile having a look at it. Well, that's it for me today. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you next time.